Whether you're a beginner, progressing through the catch, or a top-level rider, Zwift racing can be super fun and gives us a chance to feel like the pros, but there can be a lot going on your Zwift screen. My name is Dave Kowalski. Over the last 2 years, I've progressed from a C category rider to an A category rider. I've learned that Zwift can be grueling, exhilarating, a great workout, but most of all, fun. Whether you are a sprinter, puncher, or climber, let's take a ride together and discuss the 6 key things you need to know to climb up the leaderboards.
Watts is a measurement of power and is the simplest metric to gauge how hard an effort is being made. But does the person with the highest watts always win? No. There are many other factors at play, such as road gradient, weight, and drafting that determine the outcome of the race. When you are racing, don't worry so much about averaging the highest watts. Instead, focus on conserving your power, maintaining lower watts, and sitting in on the draft. Your body only has so much energy to put out. Think of your watts as sand in an hourglass. There's only so much. Use them now, and you will empty that glass. Save them now, and come the sprint finish, there might be just enough sand left to stand on the podium. The number one thing I monitor during my races is my heart rate. I am making sure it doesn't stay above my red line for too long. Why? Because keep your heart rate too high for too long and the lights will go out. Each rider is different, so you will slowly learn your limits as you continue to race. For me, 180 to 184 beats per minute is pushing the pace. Anything above 185 is unsustainable for more than a couple minutes. When you are racing, figure out what you can sustain for 20 minutes. If the pace gets too high and your heart rate is above your red line, it is perfectly okay to back off and ride at your own pace. If not, you run the risk of what's called cracking, where your body has pushed so hard it has nothing left to give. One of the top cyclists in the world, Tadej Pogačar, typically within seconds of podium position, lost more than 5 minutes in the Tour de France, most likely because his heart rate was redlining for too long and his body couldn't give any more. Gradient is a key factor in determining how much of a draft effect you will gain. Flat roads give the most draft, and steep roads give almost no draft. The best time to attack your rivals is when the gradient is above 7%, because riders behind you will not benefit from your work. Any flat road below 3% is denoted by a white color and maximum draft is possible. Between 3 and 6% is yellow, and riders gain a slight drafting benefit. Between 6 and 9% is orange, and riders gain almost no benefit. Finally, above 10% is red, and drafting is essentially non-existent. The FTP Bar Chart is an option you can turn on in your settings. It indicates relative to how much power you are able to put out for an hour, what zone you are riding in. There are 6 zones total. The first 3 indicated by the colors gray, blue, and green. These zones indicate you are riding a fairly easy pace and will be able to continue for a long time. The 2 zones yellow and orange indicate you're riding near your FTP. The final zone, red, means you're above your FTP and likely cannot sustain this pace for long. When racing, I monitor this chart as I know if I stay above yellow for too long, my day is going to get very painful very quickly. This tool is also useful for when riding climbs over 20 minutes, as it gives a good indication of your pacing and will assist you to not blow up before the top. Watts per kilogram is simply the amount of watts you put out divided by your weight in kilogram. The metric can be found on the right-hand side of the screen. Not only are you able to see your own watts per kilogram, but you can also see that of rivals nearby. This is the single biggest determining factor when riding on roads steeper than 7% gradient, as the drafting factor is significantly reduced, and at this point, it's only man versus road. As your weight will fluctuate between races, I use this metric over pure watts to pace myself on climb. Since I know I have a 20-minute power of 4.6 watts per kilogram, I try and keep my pace right there. However, races are dynamic, and sometimes you are required to push above your comfort zone. For me, that's anything sustained over 5 watts per kilogram. Pushing over this amount will put me in the red zone. We are going to see here the impact of a simple 2.0 difference. Here, the rider in the orange and black kit pushes towards 7 watts per kilogram on the steep 16% section. And wow, the gap starts to open. Unlike racing in real life, we can't look at competitors' faces or hear their gears shifting. What we can do is look out for orange sprint numbers on the right. We can see Bjarhead is behind me, but he is cranking out nearly 14 watts per kilogram. This is a good indication he is going on the attack. He is going to fly by the group, but I saw it coming. So my watts are already high, and it will allow me to catch his draft, close the gap, and stop the attack. This simple trick can be the difference between staying in the main bunch and being spit out of the back. In addition, this trick will help you save energy, as I didn't have to sprint a second to close down the attack. Wow! Immediately back onto the wheel. In the next example, we will see it again, except this time, multiple riders go. Because I up the tempo before a gap opens, I am able to negate it. While difficult to maintain 100% focus all the time, watching for moves like these may just result in a victory later on. While it will take time to improve upon keeping track of all these metrics at once, focusing on these 6 items in your next race will give you a better chance to conserve watts, attack at opportune times, and you may just be able to stand on the podium at the end of the day.